What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash today, BCH USD. Shout out to the Dragon Riders. It is the second day of November. Here we are, $531 right now with 9 hours and 6 minutes left in the day. Dumping down a little bit on the day, but still holding up better than the average altcoin, right? Like if we're looking at the aftermath, we're measuring this against the average altcoin here. The aftermath from the 10th, the average altcoin is still like down here, right? They're not up at the top areas from where they bounced from on the 10th there, right? Here you are consolidating right up here, looking to probably find support at prior resistance, and then you continue to rally. I'm not intimidated by this very bearish candle, relatively speaking. I'm not intimidated by it at all, though. Not a whole lot of volume. It's about average volume, to be fair. Um, Again, we know what average volume is because you see the bars where the volume is, but then there's those little wispy lines, the histogram. Um, that's the average level. So whenever this line is in tandem with it like it is now, that's about average volume. When it's below or above, that's above or below average volume, right? So anyways, 1 hour time frame, zooming in here, $531 right now. The 1 hour RSI is promoting bullish divergence. I don't know if I'd call it that here. You look weak. You look weak overall. Like the RSI does look weak on the 1 hour, but good thing is it's just the 1 hour. Stochastics have a little bit of bullish divergence, I suppose. That's a massive drop on the 1 hour there. Did Bitcoin do that? Not really, no. Bitcoin Cash just being volatile, being squirrely like it likes to be. I'm not really getting any good reads off of this. I mean, we're at low points, sure. Right, the last time that we saw a move like this, a read like this, we were at a low point, then we moved up, but we still moved back down afterwards. So is it something to find support off of, to count on? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Let's keep looking. 4 hour time frame here. Let's zoom out a little bit. Use this low to high. We're not going to use the fake out high. We're just going to use this high, okay? Low to high. You see this typically, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I would expect that we do go to the 382. And with the 382, it's actually very common to wick a little bit below there and then move up and find support afterwards. So we could interact directly with these prior areas of resistance here, find support, and then move up. It's very, very common and normal to do. So something around, let's say 515. 515 to 520. We're at 531 now. The low yesterday, or earlier, sorry, like 2 hours ago, was 522. So nothing crazy. 520, 515, right around there. Something in that zone. Find support there, and then we can continue to move higher. That'd be the expectation overall. I do expect that this zone we will break out of to the upside, not to the downside, right? Unless something detrimental happens with Bitcoin and the other big dogs in the space. Looking at the 4 hour with the indicators on, the RSI is not really being helpful here. I mean, if anything, it is bearish, but it's kind of neutral. Overall, it's very bullish. Overall, it's very right. We've got this nice uptrend, higher lows, higher highs. You got deep into the overbought zone, predominantly living above the 50, right? You don't really seem to like it below the 50. You tend to move pretty fast out of it. So I would assume that we move fast out of it here too. We could get oversold. It's just not really telling me anything, right? We found support kind of in this area the last couple of times. We found support right there. We found support here before. It doesn't mean that we have to now. I'm just not really, the 1 hour looks exhausted to the downside. The 4 hour, I can't imagine would push too much lower either. So that really agrees with the idea that if we do go lower, it's not going to be too intense. Maybe this candle here ends in an hour and 3 minutes. Maybe here we close, and then the next candle we wick down to that 515, 520 area, and then we close back up. I don't know. The MACD does have bullish divergence, right? No. I'm sorry, I misspoke. No bullish divergence. Technically, between these 2 points there is, but really you're just decaying in bearish momentum. Likely going to bounce here. You typically do look to bounce at the zero. Even though the blue line's below, even if the orange line goes below, you can still bounce below it. It's not really respected as like a rigid rule. It's nice when it is. It's great whenever it is, but it's more of like an area to bounce, right? You can bounce just above, just below, right at it. It's kind of flexible with the bouncing of this area here. So right at an area to bounce in the 4 hour MACD, right at an area to bounce on the stochastics as well, and you are at an area to bounce on the RSI. So soon we should be moving up higher. I wouldn't be surprised in the least, but maybe just a little drawback first. The daily MACD is looking like it wants to cross above the zero. Now this is big stuff, guys. This is actually really big stuff. Crossing above the zero on a daily time frame promotes a lot of growth, right? We did it here. This is the last example that we have of this. I mean, we look at this in tandem with the movement that we had. You moved up initially. That got you here to break above the zero. And then once you broke above the zero on your MACD, with the oscillators, this is just the beginning point of a move that persevered for months. right? That continue to grow for months. And really, in the short term, you had a nice pop overall, but just same kind of thought here. Last time it was really good. I would expect it's good for us this time as well. Stochastics are bullish. The RSI overall on the daily time frame is pretty bullish. We're kind of neutral right now. We've been neutral really since September, I would say. But we're in a bullish posturing now, potentially set to bounce off the 50. Again, remember here, we were talking about how we found resistance here, and now we're finding resistance here at the same point. Here you got oversold. Here you got oversold. We're looking to find support either at the 50 or at the 40. From where we are here, I'd like us to find support at the 50, because if we go down to the 40, that might push us back below $500, which is fine. Go below $500, I don't care, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. Looking at the weekly time frame, zooming out a little bit more, things really start to get bullish as we zoom out. Let's even look at the monthly time frame, because again, where we are, you guys, is just such a legendary setup of a move. I can't believe we've made it this far in the video and I haven't talked about it, right? I feel like this is what I normally start off talking about when it comes to Bitcoin Cash, but it's just this absolutely massive consolidation phase that you've been in, right? Show me a better chart right now, please. I would love to know a better chart, or I would love to know anything see any chart that looks like this, that is anything in confluence to this. Is that the right word, confluence? What does, let's see, define confluence. Confluence. That means similar, right? Not opposite, right? In the junction of two rivers, yes. Okay, yeah. Confluence. Well, it doesn't have to be of two rivers. We're thinking of two thoughts, I suppose, or two rivers of consolidation, maybe. I don't know. We're looking for this kind of, maybe it's not the right word, but anything that's similar to this, that has this kind of setup where you've broken out, you're back testing your trend line for support, and you have found support. This setup, you guys, is not going to fail. It's going to lead us to prices that are dramatically higher than this level here that we saw last cycle, higher than the levels that we saw the cycle before. Bitcoin Cash is on its way to new all-time highs altogether, right? This is a historic move. This really is. It's a historic move. We talk about it all the time because it's the main thing to talk about. There's nothing else that's even close to valuable as far as what to talk about in this overall lifespan of Bitcoin Cash. This might be the most significant move that we ever have in Bitcoin Cash's history. Quite literally, I think we're going to see the biggest move ever for this thing between now and the end of the cycle. And we could see that, through the breakout here. We literally back tested this trend line perfectly, found support. If we were to actually put this on a daily time frame instead of a monthly time frame, this line lines up even better with this low point here. But if we throw the ribbon on there as well, this is something else that gets me dramatically bullish. It's just the monthly ribbon. The EMAs have flipped, right? The ribbon, for those of you that don't know, is the 20 EMA to the 55 EMA with increments of 5. Every EMA in between. Whenever the monthly ribbon flips down, it's incredibly difficult to have it flip positive. And we have flipped positive. We haven't gotten the bullish procedure afterwards, right? We're still consolidating in this area, but we have flipped positive, which is immense, which is crazy. And we're finding support on it, looking like we're ready to go. I mean, just imagine here, okay? Imagine where we are here right now with the ribbon. Compare it to this, okay? But to this effect, we had the bearish ribbon, right? The yellow was on the bottom. We pushed down really hard. We're here. We're literally at the exact same point here as we are here, just with a different effect, the exact opposite effect, okay? And I think the move up is going to be larger than this move down was. Absolutely. I think we're gonna crush $2,000 to $4,000, and we're going to see new all-time highs very soon, potentially by the end of this year. And all-time highs are all the way up at about $4,300. We're at $530 now. So immaculate, very immaculate potential. We're not going to see a setup like this again ever for Bitcoin Cash, or at least for a very long time. This took multiple cycles to form. It's very bullish. I want to see BCH BTC real quick, and then we'll wrap this video up. BCH BTC. Let's do it on Binance. Now this chart sucks. This is a bad chart. This is not a good argument for Bitcoin Cash, at least as far as the long term goes. But the more that you, what's the word that I'm looking for? The more that you dissect, that you look into it, the more bullish kind of implications there are, right? Like, for example, initially we were dropping at this pace, and then we were dropping at this pace, and then we were dropping at this pace. Do you see what's going on here, right? We're rounding out our lows. You can see slowly but surely we are rounding out. You can see it's because each line that we're connecting with each of these macro lows, that the slope is getting closer and closer to zero, right? It's approaching zero. We're literally sloping, and I don't even need those lines to do it, right? We could just draw, but you can see this rounding bottom here. This is what a rounded bottom, look up You could look it up right now. What does a rounded bottom mean? What does a saucer pattern or a frying pan pattern mean? What does a rounded bottom pattern mean in charts, right? It means long-term accumulation. And I think we're seeing that. I think BCH to BTC, there is a long-term shift here that's going on, right? First, BCH was trash. It was a scam. Nobody wanted it, right? Now all those people are gone. There's only the true believers left and people who have come to realize that Bitcoin Cash really is the better Bitcoin, right? Now, some people like myself believe Bitcoin Cash has the potential to flip Bitcoin. It doesn't ever have to do that. I don't think Bitcoin Cash ever has to flip Bitcoin in order to be successful, but I really do think that it will flip Bitcoin in time. And if you believe that like I do, inevitably we're going to see this thing get to new all-time highs. Again, this is a massive shift in momentum that we're witnessing right now. We're at the base of this shift in this trend. Hold on, guys. I've got a little... She's trying to have me put on a dress right now, and I'm like, just hold on, I'm almost done here. This shift in momentum is going to lead us higher, and I really do think that we're going to see a massive shift from a high to a low. We should see a massive retracement, is what I should say, up to this 382 level and beyond. That's a 2% of a Bitcoin to potentially 9% of a Bitcoin price area that we're looking at for BCH to BTC. Okay, by the end of this cycle. 2% of a Bitcoin, if Bitcoin itself goes to $500,000, 2% would be $10,000 Bitcoin Cash. And Bitcoin Cash is at what, like $540 right now, $530? That's 10K on the low end of things. You typically go a little bit higher. So I really wouldn't be surprised if we saw Bitcoin Cash get above 10K by the end of the cycle. If we double that, if we go more than that, you guys, 20K is very possible. It really is. I want to look at the weekly time frame though. We're getting way too caught up with the other stuff. Weekly, look at this, look at this. Hey. Oh, we look like we want to cross, guys. We're looking like we want to cross. That's awesome. We're going to cross. Yeah, I think so. We're going to get a bullish cross. We're finding support right now. That's all we're doing. We moved up. We're finding support, back testing. We're going to continue to rally. I'm very confident that BCH USD is about to pump here, you guys. So just the thought there. Maybe we go a little bit lower. I'm not holding my breath over it. I mean, maybe that was the low itself. Maybe this level right here, maybe that was it. I'm going to delete all these lines here. Maybe that was it. And if so, that's fine. But I'm still holding my breath over 515 to 520. Okay, we're at 530 now, and then up. That's the thought. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. We know that the massive breakout is coming because of where we are positioned in this overall historical phase. But I would say once we get a week to close above this level here, let's do one better. Once we get a week to close above here, above 622, above 623 on a weekly time frame, then we're cutting loose the goose. We're going to fly. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves, all right? Bye.